You know, they've been under a lot of stress for 5 months, a lot of stress for 5 months. And, give them a break. They've had to get rid of all the opposition, try and put the country back on track and, do normal things and so forth. And they're very tired and stressed. And so you can expect something like this. It's not unusual. Yes. Oh, no. Trump will prevail. He's the president. He was elected as the president. So, Elon made a mistake, I think, but he's tired. He's stressed. 5 months, continuous. Stress.
Well, it's a very sad case. It's a case we win. We can't lose that case because we have the right to make grants. We're not going to make any grants like that. But I don't think Harvard's been acting very nicely. I think Columbia wants to get to the bottom of the problem. They've acted very well. And there are other institutions, too, that are acting, but Harvard's trying to be a big shot. And all that happens is every 3 days we find another 100.
His drug use appears to have increasingly gotten out of control. So last week, the New York Times wrote, Mr. Musk's drug consumption went well beyond occasional use. He told people he was taking so much ketamine, a powerful anesthetic, that it was affecting his bladder, a known effect of chronic use. He took ecstasy and psychedelic mushrooms, and he traveled with a daily medication box that held about 20 pills, including ones with markings of the stimulant Adderall, according to a photo of the box and people who have seen it. So, to put it politely, Musk doesn't look well. In that video, that was the recent video of him in the Oval Office, he had a black eye. And he said that he claimed it was his 5-year-old son who gave it to him. So seems kind of a stretch to me. But Elon has acknowledged regular use of ketamine. This is an issue for me. This is the world's, as I mentioned, richest man. He's head of a big public company and owner of the world's most important platform for journalism. He's also a defense contractor with top secret clearances vital to American national security. But that right there that we just saw in that video, the mood swings, the instability that we're seeing, the irritability, the impulsivity, that looked like Pookie from New Jack City. That's a fiend right there. So, I mean, am I making too much of a big deal about this?
Probably, but again, I don't know what he takes or doesn't take. He said he takes the ketamine and whatever else. Maybe he does have autism, but guess what I would say to that in general? Welcome to America in 2025, because 95% of Americans take something. I'm not talking about ketamine or some kind of medication for whatever. I'm saying medication. I'm not saying
because ketamine is a pretty serious drug.
Right.
That's just what's it? The Perry from Friends died from.
You can die from many drugs, KJ. You can die from overdose of Tylenol. We don't know why he's taking it. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't know what he's taking. What he said he's taking the ketamine or whoever the New York Times reported. Okay. Again, to me, if he's taking it, he's taking it. Whatever. He got the black eye. He said it was his son. I don't know. I don't care. All I care about ultimately is what our agenda is, and are we moving forward? Elon Musk does not have decision-making power in this. There are plenty of people who I would say, if you want to call it with the security clearances, who are worse than Elon, who have done greater damage to our company. Someone named Biden and Clinton come to mind. Those two people, they come to mind, and maybe some other ones there. But nevertheless, again, this is like a media cycle. It's media fodder. All these people now, they can't wait. Dana Bash, and they are just dripping, salivating. They were just waiting for something like this to happen in this administration so that they can get their ratings back up for the weekend, and then they will find any kind of way. All of a sudden now, they're going to find a different angle to bash Trump. Whatever.
There are some people that are actually happy that this schism occurred between President Trump and Elon Musk. They are saying that Elon Musk was not really part of the MAGA movement and that he was actually too close to China.
Be specific about what it is Elon is or has been doing that turns you off so much.
His entire supply chain is in China. And he is unbelievably close with the CCP. Xi Jinping asked him to build a showroom for Tesla in Xinjiang, which is where the Uyghurs are being genocided, and he complied. He didn't have to do that. He's the richest man on the planet. So he has this unbelievably obsequious relationship with China, who I believe is our greatest adversary. I don't see how you can truly be an American patriot when you have to bend the knee to China and have proven willing to bend the knee to China over and over again. He's such a maverick on Twitter when it comes to American politics, but he has never once said a negative word about the CCP, which of course engages in tons and tons of, human rights violations, the genocide of the Uyghurs, and of course undermines America at every turn that it can. The way that he related to American workers over the H-1B visa squabble over Christmas, when he literally endorsed a tweet calling Americans retarded, I really, really, really didn't like that. I don't think he has the same values as the MAGA movement. He's not religious. He has this kind of transhumanist view. He thinks that Americans are going to be, people are going to become computerized and that intelligence is going to be machine made. All of this stuff for me really puts him at odds with the values of the MAGA movement. Now I
love MAGA. I have Bachi. I'm sorry. I've been listening to her for a few years, even before she started coming on Megyn Kelly. Look, she's right in a sense. She's right, not in a sense. She's right in one aspect. First of all, Elon is a businessman, right? He's going to go wherever he is allowed to build his cars and whatever his toys are and sell them. Granted, we've known for years that China has human rights abuses. Nevertheless, guess what? So do some of our companies here in America buy and sell products via or have them made via China and other places that have some abuses. We buy them. And I'm not saying that's right. I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying these are things that happen. We're talking about Elon because of all this blow up. Nevertheless, he may not be a MAGA, I don't know what you want to call it, a MAGA sycophant, if you will, or proselyte, but he has an ear and an eye for running a business, or at least certainly dodging the fraud, waste, and abuse that so far that we have found. I don't have this instinct, if you will, to have 100% allegiance, that everybody has to have 100% allegiance to anything. That's just not an instinct that I have. You can be on the side and support the side for the values or the overwhelming values that you support it for, particularly in this case for MAGA. But I don't want the MAGA or even the Republican conservative side to get to this, what we call authoritarian streak, where everybody has to agree 100% on everything that we say, or whoever the we are, people, the we, whoever that is, or else you can't be a part of our party. I think that is just so ridiculous. Ronald Reagan said it's better to agree on 80% than the 20% that you disagree on and make that the issue. I don't want this authoritarian streak. I just don't have that instinct. I just don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What is your thoughts there, Nicole?
The last thing we need to do is go back to maybe 10 years ago when Republicans had to pass a litmus test in order to be, are you conservative enough to call yourself a Republican? Are you red enough to be MAGA? I don't want to go back to those days, because what it did is it alienated so many people who shared our values, but didn't want to take the damn litmus test. And listen, there are some people who are fine Republicans who don't want to be identified as MAGA, ultra MAGA, super MAGA, duper, 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 whatever it is. They don't want the label. They vote the way we want them to vote. They believe the things that we all share core tenets, but we're not going back to the days of the litmus test. We don't want to start doing what the Democrats do, putting people into these silos and then making our legislators dance for the silo. Let's stay one big group. Elon's having a hissy fit. There's no reason for MAGA to respond to any of this foolishness. Keep pushing the agenda. Again, we're on a tight time window. They want that big, beautiful bill by July 4th. I think it'll be closer to Labor Day. I'm just going to be really honest with you. When all of it's said and done, maybe the day after Labor Day, President Trump will sign the bill. But all of this has to take a back seat. All of the drama, the name calling, your mama slept with Epstein and all. We don't have time for that. We don't have time.
Now, is it fair to say, because I know you guys seem to be making light of this, and we're not talking really about your everyday libertarian. We're talking about a man who was, pretty much at the front of the movement, not so much the MAGA movement, but he was in a position to make real decisions within the movement, the so-called movement, the administration. He put in millions and millions of dollars, as he feels, though he actually believes he was the reason why President Trump won. So it's not just someone that may, fall under the big tent, as you all like to say. I mean, this man, was a major influence within this election. So, and to say that, so I just want to make sure I understand, are you all saying then that you don't really think it's a big deal that he has close ties with China? It was just reported that he tried to force his way into the Pentagon for a classified briefing on war plans with China recently. The New York Post is reporting Trump was outraged and called it a national security threat. Musk security clearances are now may be suspended. They're looking into that. So, this guy, I mean, he had a lot of influence. Are we supposed to just say it's not a big deal?
I don't see what the big deal is. Number one, in a sense that for his business purposes, that's what he's going to do. He's going to go where his products are sold and allowed to be built, or whatever you call it. Again, if his clearances are pull them. So what? Pull them. If that's a security risk in whatever shape or form, pull them. President Trump has pulled others' security clearances. Keep doing it if that's what it takes. I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time focusing on Elon. Elon is not the president. Elon may have influence, but guess what? Other people have influence. If you have access to the president, that's any administration, including Trump. What I guess I don't get is. Now, okay, let me get another example. This may be a loose example, but this is what comes to mind. There are people, even on the Republican side, who did not support Trump before, and now they are rah for him. Are we not to trust them?
Who?
I'm not saying they may not have as much influence or donors.
Well, that's the actual point I'm making about the amount of power and influence that this
works the opposite way too. It can work the opposite way. All I'm saying is that Elon is not the president. President Trump is. He's making the decisions. If he wants to pull his clearance, go ahead. I support that. Fine. But let's keep moving on. This whole thing makes me upset just because it's happened. And I know the media is going to run with it. They're going to find anything in any angle, but it's up to us. We realize that we should know that's what the media does.